ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, esteemed guests, honorable ministers, and members of the federal and provincial governments, and imams, I greet you all with the universal greeting of Islam. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. May the peace, mercy, and blessings of God be upon all of you. If that Arabic is too much, feel free to use the shortened email version, salam, or peace. Muslims greet each other with peace and part from each other with peace. I once heard that when European merchants in the heydays of commerce would bid farewell to Muslim traders, the entire community of Muslims would turn out to say goodbye with a salam, and the European traders would likewise respond, salam. Over the years, salam got transformed into so long. When I first heard it, I confess, it felt like a fairly plausible explanation of a very strange goodbye. The universal elements of our languages connect us as human beings. Whether we speak Chinese, Arabic, Persian, Urdu, or English, we understand happiness and sadness, pain and joy, suffering and emancipation. These shared experiences come from the fact that as human beings, we have many things in common. And if this is true at the universal level, it must likewise be true at the particular level. Which brings me to why we are here this evening. We're here to award excellence in the field of education, to express our gratitude to those men and women who risk their lives for us, and above all, to celebrate our shared experiences as citizens. My friends, this is our city and our country. And excuse my evident bias, it is the best country. And if you take James Lovelock seriously, it could very well be the safest place in the world to live now and into the near future. Lovelock is the author of The Vanishing Face of Gaia. Everything that happens in our city has an impact on us. When there's a fire, we share the grief of those who might have lost life or property. When a teacher is found dead in the trunk of a car, we demand answers. When there's a collision on our highways and we are caught up in a traffic snarl that takes hours to clear, we assure ourselves that emergency teams are ahead trying to save lives and get dangerous drivers off the road. Michael Jackson died more than 2 weeks ago, and I'm still running into young Muslim men and sisters in hijab so touched by his songs that they too are mourning his death. That's because we share a common space when we dream, hope, pray for peace and prosperity, for success at our jobs, and that we don't lose them. Deep down in our souls, we know a prolonged strike by our city workers is having or will soon have an impact on all of us. We might not be sure how the mayor and his team are handling negotiations, but we pray, as only citizens can, that it ends soon and people get back to their jobs. That's what a shared space means. It means working towards common goals and aspirations. It means being united by a shared destiny, whatever our cultural backgrounds might be. We ignore this dimension of our lives at our own peril. And Nu'man ibn Bashir, a companion of Prophet Muhammad over 1400 years ago, narrated that he heard the following from the Prophet, peace be upon him. The condition of a person who respects God's limitations are like passengers of a ship who drew lots to determine who gets seated on the deck and who will be lodged in the hull. When those in the hull needed drinking water, they had to go up to the deck, and this annoyed the people on the deck. So those in the hull decided to drill a hole in their share of the boat to secure their own source of water. After describing this scenario, the Prophet, peace be upon him, said, if the people on the deck left those in the hull to do what they intended, everyone would perish. However, if they intervened and prevented them from drilling a hole in the bottom of the boat, everyone would survive. From this single narration, Muslim theologians have deduced a manifesto of constructive engagement, a social contract, if you wish. Those who can ensure the safety of a vulnerable group are obligated to do so. Those who can rectify a wrong are likewise obliged to do so. Those who fear harm must act to prevent it. And finally, if anyone fears they may create more harm by acting, they should be patient. Integral to our shared experiences is the virtue of gratitude, especially to those tasked with responsibility to ensure safety, to prevent harm to life or property, to save lives, and to restore health. God reveals in the Quran, should you be grateful, God will increase you in that which makes you even more grateful. وَإِن شَكَرْتُمْ لَأَزِيدَنَّكُمْ. We also wish to show our appreciation, not only to those tasked with providing security, emergency medical and fire services, but as well to those who are tasked with our education, teachers, principals, who work tirelessly to ensure our educational institutions serve the needs of our society. The brilliant Malaysian philosopher Syed Naqib al-Atas defined education as a quest for wisdom. And wisdom, he said, is present when a person is doing his or her best for the happiness of others. We are pleased to have with us this evening a number of athletes competing for the upcoming Special Olympics to be held in Windsor later this month. If you went to the Games website, the motto is, "Together we triumph," and indeed we do.
Assalamu alaikum. It is a great honor to be here again with you this evening. And I must tell you that I come tonight with strong memories of our beginnings. The first appreciation night 5 years ago, when we gathered together at the Islamic Foundation in Scarborough. And on that first night, a very special bond was created. A bond that had developed over a number of years, a bond of friendship and of mutual respect. It's an opportunity this evening to recognize excellence in our communities. But I would like to take the opportunity to begin by recognizing excellence and to demonstrate and show my appreciation to our many friends in the Muslim community in the greater city of Toronto, the Muslim organizations of Greater Toronto and the Islamic Foundation of Toronto for their leadership in our communities. You know, they do extraordinary things, as I'm sure so many of you are aware. For example, many times throughout the week, they provide hot soup days where they feed over 700 people from all walks of life. They have reached out and provided funding and support for many international events, the tsunami, the earthquake, many crises around the world. And perhaps most importantly, they have brought to the young people of our city a sense of community, a sense of responsibility. They have enabled us to form partnerships and to work with them to make a difference. And now many people believe that the role of emergency services is to keep the city safe, and this is true. This is a very important responsibility, but it is not our only responsibility. We have a responsibility also to do everything we can to ensure that we live in a socially just society, a society where everyone can be treated with respect, where every young person can realize their full potential, where people can be proud of their communities and to be contributing members of our society regardless of the neighborhood they grew up in, regardless of the school that they went to, the country of their origin, their mother tongue, the faith that they practice. Regardless of any of their circumstances, people can be treated with dignity and respect in our community. And we are blessed in the city of Toronto because although we live in one of the most diverse cities in the world, people come from all walks of life, from every tradition, from every culture, speaking every language, practicing every faith. And we come together and we live in peace and in harmony. And this is an example for the world. And I remember not too long ago, police leaders from across the world coming to Toronto to ask of me, how can you have such a relationship with your communities? And in particular, how can you have such a relationship with the Muslim community of Toronto? And I told him of our friendship. And I took him and introduced them to our many friends in the community. I talked about your leadership, your willingness to reach out and to work with us. And the example that we set together is an example that is spreading across the world. And I recently had the opportunity to travel to Europe, and I was in the Netherlands. And I went to the city of Rotterdam, and I had met with the chief of Rotterdam on a number of occasions. And he said, I want to show you what we have accomplished. And he took me to the community, and he took me to a mosque. And we met with the Muslim population people of Rotterdam. And there was a new friendship and a new respect and a new relationship was developing between emergency service personnel and the Muslim community in that city. And then I went to the city of Amsterdam, and I met with the chief of police in Amsterdam. And he came to me and he showed me with such great pride a picture of him and his uniform in a mosque in Amsterdam. And he told me that this would have been impossible even a few short years ago. And yet, by going into that mosque in his uniform, because people there welcomed him and were willing to form a friendship and a partnership and a relationship with him, they are transforming the relationship between themselves and the community that they serve. And so we have much to appreciate. And I would like to take this opportunity to offer my very sincere thanks to the entire Muslim community in Toronto, to the Islamic Foundation, to the Muslim organizations of Greater Toronto, for your strength, for your willingness to work with us to make sure that our communities are not only safe, but socially just places for all of our communities, and for helping us set an example for the world in how people can come together in respect and in trust and make a difference. I think it is an example of leadership and of learning, because that we know that the more we know of each other, the more we can come to trust each other, the more we will be able to accomplish, and the greater example we will set for our youth. I have been always so impressed by the quality and the extraordinary capacity of the young people of the Muslim community. We will see examples of that today, and we will see in those examples a hope for our future in living together in peace and in harmony and setting an example for the world. I'd like to take this opportunity to thank the many people that have organized this event, not just this year, but over many years. the now hundreds of people that come here tonight so that we might spend some time together to show our mutual respect and appreciation for the extraordinary accomplishments of excellent people in our organizations and also within our community, and for giving us all hope for a brighter future, a future where everyone, and in particular all of our young people, can realize their full potential as citizens, and that truly is what makes us all Canadian. Thank you very much.